don't have to clap. Can you hear that munching, everybody? That's Simon Kennedy Ellis.
How are you?
I'm okay. I'm going to...
Am I talking too loudly?
No, you're fine. It's fine. It's fine. I actually think I'll keep these on so that I can...
Keep monitoring.
Monitor
So you can hear... Oh, right.
Yeah, because I was going to say...
Have you got one in one ear and one in the other?
No. But I was going to say something really stupid. I was going to say, but if I keep them on, I won't be able to hear you talk. Because I'd forgotten how microphones work.
So, what can you see?
I can see you.
And I can see you.
I can see you without the intervening screen that usually allows.
Unmediated.
Yeah.
I'm fully unmediated.
I can't switch you off.
And how does that feel, not being able to switch me off?
I mean, it means I'm going to have to look more interested than usual.
You never look interested because... Wait.
You've never seen me. I switch off. I mean,
do you
literally
feign interest in the things I say?
Sometimes I walk to the other side of the room and, look out the window. No, of course I don't do that. There's a microphone right in front of me.
No, that's true.
It is true.
So, yes, it's true.
It's true. We have created an event horizon, just as we suggested.
An event horizon.
Sam Neill's going to come out of the cupboard.
This is a podcast in which two friends talk about the pleasures, absurdities, and imperfections of being human. I'm Simon Ellis.
And I'm Lee Miller. Welcome to Midlifing.
So indeed, we are... I like that you've pulled the chocolate away from me.
Yeah, I have, because I've got to hear you chewing in my ears. Not just now, but I have to do it when I'm editing as well, so double the fun.
Double the fun with double mint gun. Do you know what that plays from? Do you know what that line's from?
No, I don't.
Equus.
Oh, the play.
Yeah, Peter Shaffer.
Oh, I'm familiar with the play, but I'm not committed to memory.
It's one of those ones that really stuck with me.
Reading or watching?
Both, but reading in particular.
Yeah.
I remember just that there was something about, I think as a teenager, when we were, that, dealing with something so, let's say, spicy, but also the idea of madness, or the idea of extreme behavior, or in the lines between, really, I don't remember many things.
Have you seen the film version?
I don't think I have.
It's got a young Jenny Agutter in it.
No, I don't think I have.
Never disappointing.
Really?
And an old, I want to say, married to Liz Taylor.
Oh, okay.
Richard Burton.
So is it 1960s?
I
70s?
think it's 70s. Maybe it's not Richard Burton.
I'm impressed with how cool you're being right now. Because, ladies and gentlemen, Lee and I have seen each other. We've been in the same room for the first time since, 2018?
Easily. Maybe? We saw each other in work contexts.
May 2018, I reckon.
2018,
June
yeah.
2018.
Yeah, it would be around about then, yeah.
Wow.
That's a long
It was
time.
very nice to see you this morning, I have to say. You're all, I was going to say tarted up. That wasn't right. You're all dressed up nicely with your headphones on, and you were looking pretty cool.
I was ready to be in the world.
You were totally. What a treat! It is a treat to see you, and you haven't really changed at all.
That's a nice thing to say.
No, you haven't.
I don't.
You've got a few more tattoos, I think.
That's true. I don't think you've seen them in real life, have you?
I've definitely seen some.
You've seen the ones that are uncovered.
Yeah.
As they go up high and then down low.
Down low.
I just, because I'm listening to myself, I don't usually monitor myself when we talk.
So maybe, are you going to keep monitoring yourself, or is it a bit...
No, it's fine, except it just makes me want to do this.
Yeah.
How are there, mateys?
And have you got me in one ear and you in the other ear, or is there some kind of mix?
It's a mix. It's a perfect mix.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like listening to the podcast, only live.
Wow.
Whilst it comes out of my own mouth.
It's not just your mouth that comes out of, is it?
I don't know what he means.
No, I don't either.
Okay, good. So what happened then? And this is great because I can't usually see this. Simon looked at his telephone, not because I'm boring him, but because he has topics.
I was thinking about things to talk about.
I know.
But there's just a little bit of news, and it's because
I cut it out.
Yeah, because a while back, in fact, I think the 101, the first episode after our mini break.
Mm-hmm.
So this is really kind of series 2, isn't it? Not that we're calling it that.
I mean, we're not, but it is.
Yeah,
we're deep into season 2. We're like 3 or 4.
Yeah. It's
it's
already gripping.
We're on a difficult second album, the sophomore cut.
Damn sophomore albums. I've had before I get into the news, I've had a very big Taylor Swift week.
I don't know how to respond to that. What's a very big Taylor Swift
I've
week?
Listened and watched and documentaried. I have found myself deeply intrigued by that person.
So what is it?
I think I might be a Swiftie.
Yeah,
Taylor Swift. Have you ever listened to her music?
I mean, I am only familiar with Taylor Swift through a cover version of one of her songs that Cynthia Erivo and another singer, and I'm cross with myself for not being able to remember her name. And it goes, I never was a something, but a something. So I play you like a violin, and it goes oh so easy.
You're hearing yourself sing, and you're loving it. Can I tell you off for that? Can I tell you off with a certain sort of smugness?
You can tell me. But that's the only song I know.
I'm not too. I have listened to a lot of her, and particularly the most recent album, which is called Midnights.
I think the song I think of is called like I Did Something Bad. So why does it feel so good?
She really knows how to write a pop song.
Yeah?
I mean, they are little bloody hooky little things. Yeah. And also, lyrically, I'm really thinking they're really amazing. They're really amazing.
So, was it okay.
What got me
into Taylor Swift?
Well, what got me onto it was because I listened to another podcast. I know, I'm sorry. I know.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Don't get any ideas.
Between Simon has been unfaithful to his
There's been a lot of talk, and also I've seen it in the news, there's been a lot of talk about Ticketmaster.
Oh, yes, there's this big thing where people are being defrauded or not that.
Well,
not that.
You just can't get tickets.
Right,
and
because they've bought them all?
Ticketmaster are the people who are responsible for selling tickets to Taylor Swift next summer, northern summer for all our Antipodean listeners.
Yeah, so winter for you.
Antipodean listeners. Listeners. And, it's just a total cock-up. Total cock-up. And their tickets are now running into thousands and thousands of dollars for...
Jiminy
yeah. And she doesn't see that, of course.
No, of course, because Ticketmaster, because they are effectively, they're the middleman. They siphon everything off.
Yeah, and then, of course, Scalpers is a whole other kind
of... which is even...
And I had already listened to the album Midnights. I don't quite know how it was on my radar.
And listen to music on a radar. I'm sorry,
that was a real dad joke. And and then so I just started listening, and I was listening to more, and then I watched the documentary because there's just things I'd forgotten about. The whole Kanye
West, yeah, the whole "I'ma let you finish,"
and saying Beyonce should have won the
and then it was a
pretty obnoxious, and she was. Young,
very young, very young, and caught in the headlights.
She really was, and also just about country singing, and then anyway. So yes, I've had a big Taylor Swift week. It feels good.
Oh, great! I'm glad for you. I'm glad for her.
I'm another. She's got as if she needed one more fan in the world, and also the scale, the size of her. I just didn't have any really concept of how big. I mean, she's massive.
But isn't that one of those strange things that it's like K-pop?
Yeah.
K-pop is something that I know is huge. I mean, like, massive. And not just boy bands, but, like, there's a... You know, I occasionally listen to another podcast. I'm sorry.
God. Now we're face to face. All those skeletons are coming out of the...
dirty secrets coming out of the cupboard. But I do sometimes listen to a queer horror podcast.
Oh, of course you do. You've mentioned this many times.
I have.
Yeah.
But what I haven't mentioned is that it's less and less about queer horror and more about K-pop.
It just happens to.
That's what they just like. So they just talk about the things that they like. And so ostensibly they're going, and so now we're going to talk about Blood Diner, the 1987 classic. And then they go, oh, well, Mama Moo just released this amazing album. So so I know about K-pop as a phenomenon, again, through listening to a podcast. And then, of course, have to go and listen to Mama Moo, as an example, on YouTube to go, oh, what's all the fuss about? And then you kind of, it's particularly when you watch one of their live shows, you think,
oh yeah,
there are so many people there. I didn't know there were that many people in the world,
yeah.
let alone could be fit into a concert hall. Do they call them concert halls? Probably not. Stadiums.
Yeah.
Stadia?
Let's not do that.
Okay. It's octopuses.
I don't know why I'm laughing.
I don't know why.
Stadiums. I'm going with stadiums. I think the whole Stadia,
Now I've got another dad joke in my head about,
octopuses?
No, the plural of apple puss.
Apple puss?
Apple puss. The plural of apple puss
Wait.
is apple pie. Which is just so very.
I didn't know what an apple puss was, but now I do.
Very occasionally, I will have.
I would love a slice of apple puss.
Oh well, you don't have a slice of apple puss. You'd have a slice of apple pie, but you could have an apple puss, which would be a slice of apple pie. Because it would be the singular. It's ridiculous. It's a silly thing to say.
I'll have 2 apple pie, thanks.
Yeah, I'll have 2 apple pie.
I'll just have 1 apple puss.
1 apple puss.
You know Latin.
I really don't.
You know
I
Latin,
know I
so,
don't. You know I don't know Latin. I know enough to be able to make a silly joke.
I can smell the Latin coming out of you.
I'm like Boris Johnson. That's literally how much Latin I have.
Yeah. So yeah, but also just that. Yeah, that kind of just that the magnitude of her. I had really had no kind of. I mean, I knew, because I heard about Swifties and all that kind of thing. But yeah, it's just also just really enjoying her pop songs.
Yeah,
like really enjoying them. And
so that whole kind of like, what's the fuss about? It's like, actually, the fuss is about this.
Well,
the fuss is a very talent. I know that she's got an excellent voice.
Yeah,
she always sounds good when I bump into her.
Yeah, and she's also I recognize them lyrically as things that teenagers would hook. They're very clearly into young people and dealing with love and dealing with anger and frustration. They're very plain about that kind of. Anyway, so my news, which you cut out,
which I won't. Don't move your microphone.
Sorry.
Okay.
I'm gonna. It's quite. It's different from.
Well, just think about when you move your head and move. Everything is. You should be able to do this because you're pretty much a professional dancer at this point.
So pretty much, so just to update people because you cut it out.
All right. I cut it out because it was behind something. It was a really good conversation, but it was
a good conversation about failure.
Yeah, it was
a conversation about wanting to be in clubs and then not being accepted into clubs. So the short version of that is that because but also who are listening that I applied to become a professor. My application did not. It failed at the first hurdle. I think there were about 4 hurdles, so it didn't get past the first one.
Wow.
So anyway, that's that update.
Okay, so tell me, what was on your?
My
you
list.
Picked up your list.
I need
and
to.
You went, and I'm pretending that I'm not reading an email, a text message from
You
Bob.
are reading a text message from Bob.
What the? Why would somebody do that?
Can you tell her that we're recording and that she shouldn't send?
No, I won't tell her that.
Could you put your phone on?
I can turn it upside down. There you go. I'm sorry. I happen to.
This clearly happens all the time when we're recording, and now
no,
I've just
she's
seen
usually.
I have everything on airplane mode.
No. She's in the same building when we are recording.
Yeah.
Usually, and she's usually then asleep.
Because we normally sleep. It's morning.
We do normally sleep in the morning.
Yeah.
We do normally record in the morning, but we are now. What time is it? This is 3:45 in the afternoon.
That's right.
So this is a later time, but not as late as we. This is probably the only time we've done it during daylight hours that isn't morning.
I was thinking that because we're in the same building and we haven't left the building yet, I'm pointing at you to go, like Elvis, and you just refused, flat out refused.
Not being pulled into this because we haven't left the building yet.
That we should have a meal, a glass of wine, and then record a second episode. Like, we could record, like, maybe, 4 episodes.
I quite like the idea that this... I mean, I'm just looking at the recording. If we can, like, eke this out for...
Because that's what our listeners want to hear.
Yeah,
oh, God.
Jesus.
They're eking this
pushing it up the
motherfucker
hill.
out.
If we can keep talking for about another, I'm going to say 10 minutes.
Really?
I'm barely going to edit this because this is comedy gold.
No, it's not. It's shit. Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
The shade.
Okay.
Okay. Hit me with your best shot.
Okay. I've got lots of different things.
You got all excited and you put your microphone right near your mouth.
Sorry.
It's okay. It's just my ears are getting a bit sore.
Okay. My mic action is clearly not the greatest.
I want everybody to know he then remembered to move the microphone with his mouth. It was very good.
I'm used to a microphone being a fixed thing and me working around it.
Yeah. I'm the same.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
this feels much more like I want to do this as well.
What you're seeing now, dear listeners, is Lee's little finger is he's doing little finger orography, and it's away from the microphone. He's holding the mic very gently, and he's got his full-on headphones on, which are mine.
Yeah,
and he's doing this. Well, I guess you could call it dancing, but also pretending to sing.
I'm pretending to sing.
Taylor Swift.
I wasn't pretending to be Taylor
Although
Swift.
If you're Taylor Swift, I don't want to. I'm not shaming Taylor Swift because seriously, I think she's awesome.
Yeah,
but she has quite bad posture in the upper spine. She's quite hunched in the shoulders.
She's tall though, isn't she?
I don't know. I
think she's quite a tall young woman, and I suspect one of those things.
Yeah.
2 things: guitars.
Yeah.
Often there's a level of into, and she's a guitar player, isn't she?
She sure is. Well, she's pretty much an everything player.
Yeah, I've seen a little bit of her documentary, and I seem to remember her playing the piano.
She does. Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't watch it all.
I did.
Good.
Okay. I'm trying to get the mic right, and also I'm trying to decide what we can... Oh, yes, I can get rid of that one. Oh, yes, the other day. I think we're going to start with this one.
Okay.
Just yesterday.
Okay.
Just yesterday, I was talking with someone who described me as well-adjusted.
Well-adjusted to what?
I don't know. And
Okay.
I just thought that that was a term I hadn't heard for a long time.
And never about you.
I think you're more of an asshole when I can see you.
It's because I can see you and I feel I can play.
Yes, because you see the reactions
Yeah,
and
exactly.
know it's interesting.
Know
isn't
that
it?
there's I am much more careful with you when I can't see you and I can't. I was going to say smell you, but I don't mean that in a weird way. Although he's been wearing those socks for 2 days. In the sense
not.
that day and a half.
Maybe I was the smell problem. Lee and I just shared a bus ride. You don't need to know the details, but I did think there was someone around me who was some really bad smells coming from that person, and now I'm just starting to think that it might have been me.
Well, I want to defend Simon's honour. He thinks that the person was passing wind. I just think that they smelt of very, very unpleasant stale food, because I could also smell them, but it didn't smell quite so colon-y. It just smelled a bit more stale.
Anyway, well adjusted. So
what was it apropos of? I mean, not that I'm trying to. I think I'm trying to locate myself in how that. Simon has got his little finger up, and for him, because he's not moving the microphone, it looks less like he is pretending to sing, and more like he's drinking a very delicate cup of tea.
No, or a martini.
We should.
There's
have
an
martinis.
idea. Where?
I mean.
Do you know any places?
No, because I'm a stranger here like you.
Oh, you are too?
Yes.
Where are we?
I can't remember.
You're going to cut all this laughing out because we think we're so funny. And we're not.
We're not. So, okay.
Isn't it funny when your nose is running and it tastes like honey, but it's not?
We're going to get knocked on the door. Oh, I just remembered we're in public.
Yeah.
I mean, we're in semi-public. Why was the notion of well-adjusted?
How did it come into
the conversation? Yeah.
Nice recovery.
Thanks.
I've realised that part of the reason I turn you off is because I'm less likely to laugh at your face, in the best, nicest possible sense of the words of laughing at one's face. Yeah, it was in the context of talking about, let's just say, psychological damage.
Gotcha. Okay. Right. Okay.
And but it was just there was something kind of antiquated about it.
Yeah.
And also it's also kind of neutral.
Yes. It's funny because I think also there's a judgment call attached to it, isn't there? You are well adjusted. It is a statement of fact. Because I wouldn't say that about you, and that's not. No. Let me finish. I don't mean I don't think you are well adjusted. What I mean is, I am probably more likely to say something along the lines of, "You've done a lot of work on yourself." Because for two reasons. One, I'm not qualified to say if you are or aren't well adjusted.
But it's
and also then the idea that the fact that you have done a lot of work on yourself can give an indication that it's in process, that it's not resolved.
Yes, and of course the reason I just thought it was quite interesting in the sense was not because I wanted to have a conversation about whether I am or am not well adjusted.
No.
But just because of it just struck me even as being quite funny. But there's a strange, because it makes me think of TV sets and that, but also that, and also the question of agency. That is, you've said something there which is clear, the idea that each of us to varying degrees thinks about and works on and takes care with how we I don't know, how we are in the world in different ways. I think we all do that in different ways, and but there's something about the well-adjusted which is as if it's happened to you.
That somebody's come along and you've been balanced,
arranged
right?
Yes,
but I guess that's, I wonder if it's a linguistic holdover of that idea that mental health is not a spectrum, that it's a fixed and determinate state that you should be in, and anything outside of that is aberrant, maladjusted. Yeah, which of course I think we've moved away from. So there's a sense that that person there may not be quote unquote well adjusted, but that's only because they are being compared against a baseline which is probably has probably been fixed against a set of behaviours which are almost certainly gendered, almost certainly racially based. So and probably age related as well. Yes. So there'll be all sorts of things that are normative, and that notion of norm that are just
there's a very narrow subset of any population.
So maybe being well adjusted means, gosh, you're a really middle class white man. There's that's that. Yeah. I mean, I don't think it was offered to you in that way in the slightest. No. But the language of it.
Yeah, it is a very curious term. But it also implies. Sorry.
Just a little bit more pointy at your face.
Sorry.
That's okay.
It's so heavy.
But you're very strong.
Thank you. I have to change. I've gone to my dominant hand now. Oh yeah, just that sense that. It was sort of picking up on what you're talking about in terms of norms. That the sort of. And I've totally lost my train of thought.
I'm sorry. That's my fault. It's for being silly. I think there is it's so easy to forget that language holds expectations, and we use it without thinking about what those expectations are.
Yes, and I'm now, thank you, because you've done enough to help me remember, which is such, isn't that, I love that phenomenon.
The way the brain just goes, I just needed a little bit.
Love it. Just
needed somebody to just blither.
Exactly. And you did, you blithered beautifully, thank you. No, it's just that, because it's also, it's like a kind of global thing, the well-adjusted.
Yeah.
What? But, and I think there's something really curious about, for example, that we are many, many things and different levels and different degrees of many, many different things. So if I think about confidence, for example, I think always confidence I find is a really useful example, because we can be incredibly confident in some arenas and have no confidence in other arenas. And, the example that always comes to mind is public speaking. public speaking is something that terrifies most people. I'm so comfortable public speaking, but I can have all sorts of anxieties about sending an email, and things like that, which is, really kind of very odd. And so the idea that we're singular in any sense of the imagination.
Absolutely. And that idea of public speaking is it's something that will make people so beside themselves with terror.
So well adjusted. It's. I mean, I really enjoyed hearing it. I enjoy, but I'm just realizing now that I'm mostly, when we're talking on the podcast, I'm listening very intently and often with my eyes closed.
Yeah.
And because I'm concentrating on listening.
Yeah.
And it's really weird having to watch you while you're talking, because I feel like I'm it's quite
intrusive?
differently, and it's different.
Yeah.
It's really different.
Yeah.
Should we turn to video? We go to video next. We'll have
I'll go and stand in the bathroom.
Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And it was incredible, this. And also the best thing was that this sparked this memory, because the number of the bus is A1, and which is the takeaway shop in Masterton, where I was born, was called A1 Takeaways. We used to go every Friday night. And the only thing I remember about A1 Takeaways was they had these massive fish, what do you call them?
Tanks?
Tanks, thank you. Built into the wall, and on the back of the fish tanks they had centerfolds. They had naked women. I remember you had to queue up, and I used to be going past them and looking at the naked women behind the fish in the through the slightly dirty water. Very odd. The whole thing was very odd. A1 Takeaways, Masterton, New Zealand. Thank you for that memory.